Hi everyone, it's Debbie Curleatham. It is Monday, and who knows what day it is. It's somewhere in March, and I am in my garage glittering, and I was about ready to do some jingle glittering and thought it might be helpful if you all get a demonstration of how to glitter the jingles on a tambourine. So what are the jingles? The jingles are these little metal pieces, and what we're talking about is getting right in here in the wood. For those who don't want to bother with this, you can probably turn this off in a few minutes, because the first thing I'm going to show you is how to prepare your jingles. They have another name I found out. They're called zills also, but we'll call them jingles. And how to protect them, whether you're glittering the top or the sides or all of it. You need to protect your jingles so you minimize glitter or paint or glue. At the end of the day, we'll have to clean those up once our tambourine is done. So what you're going to need to do this will be painter's tape, your choice. This is 3M, pair of scissors, some Mod Podge or Aleene's or a mixture, some glitter, and I have found what works well for me, you'll see, is a plastic spoon. So I have pre-cut, I like to pre-cut my little pieces to go around the jingles, about 20 of them, 4 per jingle. So what you're going to do, I'll tilt this down so you can see a little better, is you're just going to, just like if you were doing painter's edging, doing painting in your house, you're just going to cover them, turn them around, so you have all the sides covered. Sort of easy. So we're going to do that around, there's 5 of them per tambourine. It goes fairly quickly if you cut them out all ahead of time. So this tambourine I am working on, I colored the front and the inside the same. The darkest color first, which is the hot pink. And now I'm going to do a light pink on the outside. And if it works out okay, the transfer that will go on it will be the artist pink, the singer pink. And we'll bling that out in one of the sessions that'll be coming up soon. So we're almost done this. And I miscounted, but that's okay. I have another piece over here. Okay, so what you can see now is that most of your jingle is covered. Okay. So if you are not thinking about glittering the inside, you can turn this off and have a great day. If you're thinking about it, stay with me and I'll show you how I do it. I will tell you that we're all trying to figure this out, and I believe Tanya and or Jen will also do something about how they manage the jingles. This tambourine, I painted the edge because it's a very light pink. It's a transparent glitter. So I painted it pink first to pick up the light pink that I'm going to use. So all you need to do is get your Mod Podge, and what I like to use is a little tiny brush. Let me wipe it off, it's sitting in some water. So a little tiny brush, it almost looks like an edger type of brush if you were doing edging, you know, around the walls or woodwork when you're painting. You'll need that. A trick I learned that works very well is when I before I put the glue on, I take a jingle and I take another piece and tape it to the top and then kind of stick it to the side so that you can see that it's lifted up. Let's see if I can see it. There we go. So it's not touching the top part. So I'm going to do this around all of them so that it's easier for me to try and get the glue in if I kind of adhere them up. And sometimes you have to fiddle with it and really press down with the painter's tape. Remember, it's just painter's tape, so it's going to come off. If you're doing the sides a color, I like to start with the jingles first because they take a little while to do, and it's not hard. It doesn't take long in one setting, but you'll see what I do to get it pretty, I would say pretty covered. Okay. So now we have all our jingles. If you look, if I hold them up, they're kind of held up and you can see a space in between. So all we're going to do is grab some glue with that little tiny paintbrush, and I'll tilt it down a little bit more. And I'm going to go in between, doesn't have to be clean, in between the jingles. So you can see that I'm putting a lot of glue there. I tend to wipe it off on the outside, and I'm going to do this going around all of them. And for this Monday afternoon, it's gorgeous outside. I usually have the garage door open so I can say hi to my neighbors and people walking by, but there's construction going on at the end of my street, so a lot of noise, and I didn't want that to take over this. So you can see, oh, and also the hole. You have to go in there and do the hole. You don't have to put tape in there because you're just going to go all the way around. Get a nice coat. I don't know if you can see it. And sometimes they come loose and you just have to finagle with it. Okay. So we've got, here's the last one. This is number 5. I tend to go up on the sides. So up to about halfway up. And kind of smear it around the little metal piece that's holding the jingles. What I found out, if I started to glitter here, there's usually some spots I missed. So I turn it upside down and come in from the back side. So I'm gonna try and show you. So I just get my brush up in there, come around again so you can see where I'm going there. It's kind of hard because you kind of finagle around and reach around. But that way, hopefully you won't have any spaces and have to come back and redo it. So this is not going to be a long video. I'm just showing you on this one. And I'll show you what to do once you get one side done. And I think this week, Wednesday, Jen is going to be working on, I think, beginning transfers. So tune in for that one because she's really good at that. Okay, so if you can see the inside, I now have a lot of glue in there. Again, I may want to just, so I don't have a lot of, I'm going to call it pockets or a lot of glue ridges. I tend to like go back through and make sure that it's a little smooth. Now here's the trick that works for me. I have tried taking my container of glitter and dumping it. I'm going to turn it over because this is where we're going to go. I've tried dumping it in here. It doesn't really work that well for me. What I have found that works well, and I have more control over where I'm putting the glitter, is I take a little spoonful, not of sugar, but of glitter, and I kind of just aim it in there and let it rip. So I can actually get the spoon in there a little better than trying to dump my whole thing of, my whole container of glitter. So I tend to do the outside first. Again, how everyone does this may be different. It's the end result that we're all looking for. So you can see it gets a little messy. And again, I have my paper down to catch this glitter because it's not going to stick to the glue. And as long as my hands are clean and I don't put any other glitter in it, I can dump it back into the container. Okay. So the hole is different because you've got to go all the way around. I tend to do the bottom first. So what you can see is maybe not all the glitter is on the glue, but it will be okay because just like regular glittering, we're going to go back in and do another coat. And so it's always 2 coats. At least that's what I do. Oh, and I missed one. So always double check, because I found out today, it was like I went to seal a tambourine, thought it was all done, was sealing it, and realized I didn't do the bottom part of the inside of the jingles. So it's okay, everything's fixable. Okay, so this is the excess good glitter. I have another piece of paper over here that I'm just going to tap because I have hot pink on the top and I don't want it contaminated. Then I'm going to go in. So I've turned it upside down. And I'm going to do the same thing again because I can see, it's hard for you to see, but I can see like right in here that I didn't get the glitter in just from the one side. So it's kind of easier to do that. It's okay if it touches, because if you get a good amount of glitter in there, it's not gonna, we're gonna show you how to dry it. So here's the hole, and you kind of have to tilt it. So again, anything that's not sticking right now, I can probably dump back into my container, but I will check before I do that. Okay, so looks pretty good. That's the excess. And then I'm going to tap again. I want all that excess to come out. And if you can see, it's very, very hard. If you can see, it's all glittered on the inside. Oh, and I always double check because here's a spot on the hole that I missed. And what I do is I turn the tambourine in the direction where the glue is on top and the jingle's on the bottom, because that way the jingle's not falling into the glitter. And you just put it aside. And my rule is 24 hours. Some do it shorter, but I always do 24 hours. So I'm looking at my glitter I dumped, and it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna put it back in my container and keep it with that. I always like to keep track of what glitter I'm using for what tambourine. So that's going over with that tambourine, and I'm taking the sheet that I tapped my excess and putting it right into my trash glitter tray. So for those, if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the first video with Glittering 101. And just like we said there, anytime you change glitter, clean up. So I've got a lot of pink on my hands, and I'm gonna show you what one side looks like done and how you flip it around and do the second side. So that took maybe 5 minutes to do one side. So that's pretty good, making sure I don't have it on my shirt. This is my glittering clothes. These are old clothes from New Jersey where I moved from. And I'm gonna move to showing you one that's half done. So this is one, this is a tambourine we worked on in the Glittering 101. This is just showing you, I think there's 2 coats on here. We just glittered right on there. So you can see, for this, the outside, turn it. You can see I already started doing one part of the jingle, and what we need to do it. So the top part here is glittered, but the bottom part underneath here is not. Okay, so it's very hard to see. So remember those pieces that we had to hold the jingles up? We're just going to reverse it now. So on each of these, this is what works well for me. Again, you may have to press it. I'm not worrying about scraping off or brushing off the excess glitter right now. So again, I'm just taking, it's already tied at the bottom there with one piece, and I'm going to like make it stick so it's going to be holding up the bottom part. Oh, let me turn that a little better. So you can see this part's not done, but the top is. So again, there's 5 of these and the hole, the finger hole. I think at some point our group should get together and do a rendition of Mr. Tambourine Man, because we'll be experts at this, and we'll have to teach the rest of the crew once we get everything together. Okay. So it's the same process. So I have the top is done. Now I'm going to do the bottom. I'm not going to do all of them just for time's sake, because you just repeat. So I'm putting glue in the middle. And now that I have some gold up in there, I can see where it ends, and I want to get my little tiny paintbrush up in there. You're going to go around, do all 5. You can do the hole too. Since it already has one coat, you can put the second coat on or leave it. And I'm going to come back into that one because I can see that there's a little kind of spots in there that are missing on the opposite side. And sometimes you got to readjust it. That one just fell down. And what I forgot to do in cleaning was, if you're using spoons, either get a new one or really brush off the one you're using from the last one. So this one is this is gold that I happen to have from Gary's. I happen to like their gold. And we're going to do the same thing here. Just going to put it right in there. That's what works well for me. I'm just going to tap it and show you what it looks like, at least at that part. So how do we finish this? Again, same thing, you're going to glue all of this is the other side of the inside. You're going to be able to, let it dry, and then you come back and repeat. So it's 2 coats. That way you get really good coverage. If you can see it. And then hopefully when you're all done, the jingles, then you can do the sides. So right now I'm going to clean myself up and show you a tambourine that is all done. And I sealed it today because I'm about ready to put on a transfer. I'm at that stage. Okay. This one was sort of simple because it's all one color. And if you can see, the jingles, you can see that they're covered inside. Hopefully you can see. I can lift it up like that and push it down that way and tilt it up. And I'm going to leave the tape on until I'm absolutely finished with my tambourine. The reason why is you may nick or scratch some of the glitter. You may find, oops, I missed a spot even after I sealed it, and you want to protect those jingles and keep them nice and shiny. There will be some glitter on it. There will be maybe some paint or glue on it. Once you take the painter's tape off, it's just kind of easy to scratch with your fingers or a non-sharp instrument like a plastic spoon and get any of that off. So I hope that was a little helpful today. Again, as I said, Jen and others may have other ways of doing it, and hopefully this will give you some idea of what's involved if you want to go through the inside of the jingles. So on that note, I will say good afternoon, enjoy the wonderful weather, happy Passover, happy Easter coming up this week for those who celebrate, and happy glittering. See you soon.